welcome to Club PHX! Next up we have Wade Crossman with Whisper. Wade Crossman with Whisper. Are you ready?
I am.
Right Club audience, are you ready? Wade Crossman with Whisper in 3, 2, 1, begin.
The first whisper, the one you heard time and again, ingrained deep in your subconscious, those memories that taught you how to be. While you were squalling, rebelling against the cold, so unlike your mother's womb, you were heard and you were hushed. Those first words of comfort, repeated as often as you needed them, amid the coos, the oohs, and ahs, someone comforted you with hushed tones. Hush, little one. It's all right. I'm here. Whether you remember it or not, this whisper marked your soul. It was your first shield against the cold, the new pangs of hunger, and the unknown terror of thirst. During those early days, the first you ever spent on earth, your cries were met not with rival screams, but with softness. Later on, you met peers, awkward at first, away from your protectors in a playground or a classroom, looking at other boys and girls who naturally organized themselves, gravitating into cliques and groups. You saw all of this socialization at work, that force that can tear down nations at a macro scale, a kind of deeply ingrained tribalism that makes and breaks nations. You discovered it here by the swings and slides, the grass and trees, the fingerprints and crayons, or maybe under a church pew. Perhaps you heard a high children's soprano, a voice not unlike your own, that uttered a phrase to combat the loneliness. Hey, do you want to be my friend? Now maybe it was a literal whisper, maybe it was not, but that budding friendship came with opportunities to galvanize this elementary bond into something stronger than mere acquaintanceship. The whispers that forge friendship can take a great many guises, confiding an interest, giggling secretly during classwork. Maybe it was the confession of a childhood fear, or a deeply held dream, or some secret that you had learned before you were supposed to. The friendship whisper can take a billion forms, but its purpose is to forge a bond with an other who you cared enough about to include in your private, secret inner world. You whispered, and they whispered back. Let's fast forward a bit, past the halls of papier-mâché art, the ones that smelled like crayon wax and freshly sharpened pencils. As you grew, the whispers grew too, didn't they? I don't know how sudden it was for you. For me, it was 5th grade, passing through the hall when I heard the next type of whisper. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of the girl. She had long, dark red hair. She was talking to a blonde, lined up in front of Miss Thomas's class. I wasn't the target audience, but the buzz of the hallway had toned just as I was passing by, and I heard the frequency vibrate off the cinder block walls. He told me he likes you. I will tell you what, prior to that moment, I had never stopped to reconsider whether my 3rd grade thesis, Girls Have Cooties, should be reconsidered. I heard that whisper and the world flipped on a different filter. That wasn't how kids talked, right? That wasn't how kids talked. There was a girl who was liked by somebody, and here I was strolling down the hallway, wasting my time at recess, trading Pokemon cards with my friends. Pikachu seemed a lot less important all of a sudden. And that whisper, that type of whisper, would grow to dominate a tremendous amount of my executive functioning for the next 10 years or so of my life. The whispers weren't just about who liked who. They were about being grown up or growing up, about maturing or pretending to be mature, and the older I get, the more I think those are the same thing. There was a delicate art to the whispers, not only about who you told, but who you could trust them to tell in turn. You'd carefully calculate the whisper. You'd try and figure out the ripples and the cause-effect relationships, the Rube Goldberg machine of pubescence, and you'd try and make sure you got the effect that you were after. It was chaos theory. It was the butterfly effect. How do I get the biggest reaction with the smallest, tiniest whisper to instigate it? How do I stand at exactly the right place so that my whisper to my best friend gets overheard by the right person on their way to class to make sure the cute girl from algebra knows that I notice her? And how do I do it without letting anyone know how hard I'm trying? I was terrible at it. But it didn't matter back then, and it still probably doesn't matter now. The point of the game was not to win. In fact, if you win, you had to come up with new things to whisper about later. We all got through it, we all do. Whether we learned our lessons or not, whether we lingered on Facebook with the gossip mongers, or if we got out of Dodge the minute we threw our graduation caps into the air, we moved on, and we started to search for the next brand of whispers. This is the type that society spends millions of dollars and even more millions of manpower hours trying to instigate. The one that every dance, every bar, every party all hopes to cultivate. They set the mood, right? Dim lighting, social lubricant, exciting music, all designed to get us out of our heads long enough to let our heart come through our lips and say what every single human being on the face of the earth wants to hear. I want you. Doesn't have to be those words verbatim. Metaphor, simile, as flowery or as direct as you like. The idea that someone would choose you in the middle of a crowded space and whisper that you are wanted, you're loved, you have value, you have worth, you're desired. That's what you want. That's what I want. The same way a baby deserves to be tenderly hushed, the kid on the playground deserves the chance to make friends. Just like teenagers deserve their clumsy attempts at romance, you deserve to be desired, loved, wanted. And as we grow and as we age, whether we mature or not, the circumstances we find ourselves in grow different, but the whispers we desire are strikingly similar to those first few ones that we've heard before. I'm here. I've got you. It's going to be okay. You're safe. I want you. Good night, sweetheart.
Wade Crossman with Whisper.